Have you ever stared into her eyes and sensed a nameless storm? A sweetness that dulled your caution? A look that made you forget the edge of your own blade? Brother, this is not poetry. It is design. There exists a realm of knowledge that modern man has abandoned, not because it is false, but because it is too costly to possess. Socrates did not shun this knowledge, he walked straight into it. What he uncovered was not a hatred of women, but a truth about them that still haunts men's souls. He warned, not with bitterness, but with fire-tempered reason, that where men are forged by clarity, women are shaped in layers of smoke. He did not utter this to demean, but to awaken. That which is veiled cannot be trusted blindly, and that which enchants must first be understood before it devours. The men of Athens mocked him. The jurors condemned him, yet he smiled at their ignorance because he knew a man who sees a woman only as she appears, not as she functions, is like a soldier beguiled by the glint of his enemy's blade, beautiful and deadly. Socrates taught through questions. So ask yourself, why does she seek power in shadows? Why is her affection often laced with strategy? Why does her silence speak louder than her words? If you do not inquire, you will not see. And if you do not see, you will kneel, not out of devotion, but out of delusion. In the Republic, Socrates described the just soul, balanced, ruled by reason, not enslaved by appetite or impulse. But what of a man who builds his life around a woman whose nature he does not grasp? That man is not building a soul. He is erecting a shrine to confusion. He spoke of the tyrant soul, ever thirsty, never still. Gentlemen, how many today wear the mask of reason while bound to the lust for feminine approval? How many raise empires not for legacy but to impress a woman who will leave once the walls are breached? Understand, Socrates was not warning you about her. He was warning you about yourself. When you fail to know her nature, she is neither enemy nor savior. She is the test, and every man must either pass it or be crushed by his own illusion. You were taught to pursue beauty, but Socrates knew beauty is bait. What matters is the intention behind it, and that is where men stumble. You chase form and forget essence. You chase her touch and ignore her pattern. You do not study, you fall. When you fall, she does not catch you, not because she is cruel, but because nature did not design her to. She selects, tests, adapts, but does not build. That burden, that curse, that crown falls on you. A man, Socrates said, must live examined, including your thoughts of her, your needs, your weaknesses, your longing. If these are left unexamined, she will see what you refuse to see and use it, not maliciously but inevitably. Just as a river does not hate the rock it erodes, a woman does not hate the man she outmaneuvers. She merely follows her nature. Are you following yours? Socrates lived among men who mistook power for votes, silver, applause. He knew true power belongs to the man who cannot be deceived, especially by what he loves. That is the starting point. You were not born to orbit her. You were born to govern yourself. The unexamined life is not worth living, but the unexamined desire is even more perilous. Desire hides most fully in the realm of women, wearing the mask of devotion, singing like truth, dancing like destiny, yet answering to survival, selection, instinct. You call it love. She calls it timing. In Phaedrus, Socrates warns that love ungoverned by reason becomes madness. Divine perhaps, but madness nonetheless. He says, a soul pulled by lust becomes a wingless creature crawling in circles, obsessed with its appetite source. How many men now spin in that loop? How many have sacrificed mission, values, sovereignty for a fleeting glance, a dopamine hit, a soft voice, a warm body? You are not meant to be devoured by the feminine. You are meant to understand her. He observed that men seek truth while women often seek alignment. Not with truth, but with security. This is not an insult. It is a biological strategy, adaptive brilliance. Recognize it. She does not seek righteousness. She seeks survival, strength, status, stability. Your intellect does not seduce her. Your ambition, certainty, command of reality does. But if you hand her the crown before you wear your own, she will never kneel. If you elevate her above your mission, She will test you until you fall. She is not cruel. She simply responds to what you reveal, that your soul is for sale. Socrates held that the soul has three parts: reason, spirit, appetite. The highest man lives where reason rules. When appetite, sexual, emotional, social, leads, the man dissolves, becoming a follower of his hunger, not of her. You know such men, those who shine only when she grants them light, who kneel without knowing the altar they serve, who would scorch their principles to keep her warm. If you remain dormant, you will join them. Socrates surrounded himself with those who confused noise for wisdom, beauty for virtue, charm for truth. He saw through it, and when he challenged it, they killed him. Yet his voice endures, not to the crowd, not to the simple, but to you, the man who dares clarity. He saw women as attuned to the present, emotion, safety. Now, while men bear the burden of future, seeking legacy, bearing the weight of vision. Vision is costly, and the feminine offers a tempting escape, comfort, warmth, an illusion of peace. You must refuse. Your peace must arise from clarity, not her compliance. She will test your frame, your conviction, mirroring your uncertainty with pinpoint precision. If you do not master yourself, she will master you, not with malice, but with instinctual perfection. Socrates taught us not to hate the world, but to interrogate it, not to fear confusing forces, but to illuminate them. Illuminate her with understanding, not suspicion. She is not your anchor. She is the tide. Do you grasp the difference? Become a philosopher of your own instincts. Socrates warned, more by silence than speech, that a man's downfall comes not from spears or states, but from desires he refuses to study. No desire haunts more than the longing for the feminine mystery he does not comprehend. The tragedy is not that he needs her, but that he does not know why. In that blindness he deifies her and blames her when miracles fail to appear. She was never meant to complete you. She was designed to test you. In Gorgias, Socrates dismantles the equation of pleasure with good, of feeling right with being right. He strips away the notion that validation, especially from women, is a measure of virtue. He reveals that seeking her approval is not noble. It is a symptom of forgotten purpose. You do not need her eyes on you. You need your soul upright in darkness. Men today crumble not from lack of talent but from internal disorientation, reading her moods better than their own values, reciting scripts she likes while forgetting the vows they made to themselves. You think you are romantic. She thinks you have lost your edge, and she's right. She cannot love what she does not respect, nor respect what she can control. Socrates did not phrase it in modern terms, but his architecture shows it. Harmony is not equality of nature, but each soul in its proper order. A woman does not wish to lead you. She wants safety under your direction. When you abandon that post, making her emotions your compass, her approval your mirror, her affection your prize, you cease to be a man and become a satellite. She may keep you around, but only for convenience, and convenience expires. Many thought they could win her love by worship, but love is not won through worship. It is won through sovereignty. In Menon, Socrates asks whether virtue can be taught, but more importantly whether men still recognize it. The same question confronts us today. Do you know masculine virtue? Do you recognize it before offering it to her? Or have you confused devotion with discipline, lust with loyalty, compliance with love? She does not want you broken, needy, or merely nice. She wants you real. The real man does not orbit the feminine. He orbits the good, the true, the just, inviting her to walk beside him only if she can match that rhythm. When she sees you live by principle, speak with restraint, lead with clarity, love without losing yourself, she will follow. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. That paradox Socrates grasped. Power does not stem from seeking it, but from being the kind of man who needs nothing from anyone, especially not from her. The moment you cease chasing her favor and begin seeking your own form, not the flesh's shape, but the essence's shape, you become untouchable, not hardened, but whole. Wholeness is the forgotten wealth of man. Ancient Athenian temples stood not for comfort but for virtue, etched in stone, measured by trials, whispered by Socrates. Know yourself, not to please her, not to serve her, not to become what she desires, but to know. In knowing there is power. In power there is peace. Yet most men today are not at peace. They wage war not against her but against the lie they tell themselves, that her love will save them, her body will cure their restlessness, her smile will replace selfhood. That is not love. It is intoxication. Every philosopher knows the drunk cannot see truth. Socrates spoke of forms, the ideal realities behind our shadows. There is a form of womanhood as there is a form of manhood. Yet modern men chase only the shadow, curves, eyes, promises wrapped in perfume. They forget to ask, what does this form serve? What does it protect? What does it devour? She is not evil. She is efficient, adaptive, not broken but complex, calibrated for survival, hers, not yours. Her instincts outpace your fantasies. Her decisions outrun your affections. When lust clouds your gaze, she sees your weakness. Socrates never said this outright, but it lies hidden in his dialogues. You are either ruled by reason or by desire. No middle kingdom exists. A man who dives into her without a map does not become free. He becomes lost, perhaps smiling, but drowning. His fate, blaming her for the downfall he never prepared for. A man trained in reason, who interrogates his instincts, confronts his thirst, unmasks illusion before it seduces, does not drown. He sails, and she respects him, not for cruelty, but for clarity. In the symposium, Socrates mentions Diotima, who teaches love as a ladder from physical attraction to love of all beauty, to wisdom, to the divine. Most men never climb beyond the first rung, rotting in pleasure's pit, never asking what the ascent points to. You, listener, must not rot. You must climb. She is the beginning of a question, not the end of your journey. She is a gate, not a kingdom. She is wind, you are the sail. Strength lies not in overpowering her, but in outgrowing the need for her definition. Let her remain mystery, paradox. Woman, be the man Socrates envisioned, measured, examined, unshaken by flattery, unbroken by rejection, undistracted by fleeting glitter. That is your path, your calling, your dignity. Dignity is not gifted. It is forged in silent heat, in the weight of rejection, in cold clarity of nights when no one watches, no one saves you. That is where Socrates would have you build, not in her arms, not in her validation, but in your own unshakable inner court. A man who leans on her warmth to feel whole has no fire of his own. A man who bends his will to preserve her affection will eventually break, and she will not pick up the pieces, not out of cruelty, but because nature does not make her a rescuer. Even she seeks a man who does not need her, yet chooses her fully aware of what she is and isn't. She is not your therapist, savior, or mirror to gauge your worth. If you want her to see you, stand where few stand, in solitude, discipline, mastery, without needing to be seen. Socrates said, "The shortest and surest way to live honorably is to be in reality what we would appear to be." Every man wants to appear strong, wise, desired, respected. How many are willing to do what it takes to truly become that? Do not chase her attention. Cultivate presence. Do not chase her body. Master appetites. Do not chase her love. Offer truth and let her respond. That is the examined life, examination of motives, not just thoughts. Posture, not just philosophy. Knowing what the soul does when faced with beauty, temptation, rejection. When she tests you, pulls away, withholds, that is the sacred trial, the arena where most men fall and betray their own throne. You will not. You will stand. Choose reason over reaction. Understand she is not an obstacle but a signal. If her affection shatters focus, the weakness was already within. If her silence breaks spirit, the silence was always yours. Do not resent her for being nature's design. Study her, learn her, respect her architecture without surrendering. She is wind, uncatchable, changeable, wild. You are the mast. You do not rage when wind shifts, you adjust the sail. That is manhood, unbreakable orientation, not conquest. This secret the world will not tell you. Your schools, scripts, soft philosophies have buried it under convenient lies. Yet Socrates whispered it through every parable, paradox, poisoned cup. Be unshaken. When you are, she will feel it. Not with fear but awe, and she will know you cannot be moved. Then she will act according to her nature. She will orbit not out of submission but selection, not as a prize for your posture but as a response to your power. Women, at their core, do not fall for men. They align with them. They mirror strength, not sympathy. They follow rhythm, not words. They seek enduring heat, not a fleeting flame. Socrates would never beg for her loyalty. He would simply become the man to whom loyalty is a natural response, understanding the hierarchy of energies. Grounded governs fluid. You are not meant to chase water with empty hands. You build a channel and let it flow. Today the world tells you to submit to her emotions, to soothe, to please, to adapt, betraying the law etched in your bones. Do not bend unless it is your will. Once you fold to win her favor, you will fold again and again until you are no longer a man but a memory. No equilibrium exists where self-betrayal is love's currency. There is no intimacy without integrity. Want to know the kind of man a woman cannot leave? It is not the richest, the most handsome, the most poetic. It is the man who can walk away and remain whole. When she senses your soul is chained to her presence, that your fire dims when her light fades, she knows you are no longer fire but a flickering candle, fragile and forgettable. The man who holds his line, smiles through rejection, continues his mission regardless of her mood, becomes a gravity she cannot ignore. Even when she runs, Socrates knew this, he lived it. While others chased applause, he pursued alignment with truth. Nothing is truer than this. A man's essence must be unmoved by others' approval, especially the approval he craves. She will test your core not to destroy it but to locate it. When she raises her voice, do you crumble? When she withholds affection, do you grovel? When she threatens to leave, do you lose direction? These are examinations, not arguments. Each failure erodes her faith, not because you are unworthy, but because you have shown your kingdom is sand. She cannot trust a man who needs her more than himself. Pain is not punishment. It is an invitation to rise, refine, become a man who can love without losing, lead without dominating, feel without falling apart. This is not empty stoicism. It is sovereignty, masculine essence stripped of addiction, the calm, composed soul of Socrates, impossible to control. That, brothers, is the beginning of love that does not enslave. You were not made to kneel at the altar of affection. You were made to stand at the gates of truth and guard them with your life. That is Socrates' teaching by sacrifice, not slogans. In his final moments, he chose death over dishonor, silence over compromise, truth over comfort. What is that truth for you today? It is this: do not fear her nature nor try to rewrite it. Master your own. The woman is not the battlefield. She is the mirror, the test, the tension that reveals your fault lines. Most men fail because they were never taught that the feminine is not here to complete your soul but to challenge it. Embrace that, and she becomes the forge. Resist, and she becomes the flame that burns you. Do not ask her to be simpler. Become wiser. Do not ask her to stay. Become the man she does not want to leave. Do not ask her to soothe your wounds. Heal yourself so deeply that your scars become scripture. Socrates gave no commandments, only sharp questions that pierce illusion. Awaken the soul. Strip away every mask. If you dare follow that path, you will lose things. Illusions, addictions, entitlements, but gain everything. Clarity, the rarest virtue in a noisy age. Calm, a stillness beyond manipulation. Power, not over others but over yourself. Mastery of self already conquers the world. Let them call you cold, distant, too logical, too firm. Those cries come from a world that fears men who cannot be bent. Such men ignore trends, resist temptation, do not sell their soul for a kiss. They stand not because it is easy but because falling is no longer an option. In that stance you become a beacon. Other men will see you, remember who they were meant to be, and the ripple will reach farther than you know. So, to you, the silent listener feeling that ancient ache only the wise know, I say, rise. Rise without rage, without apology, without fear. Not against her, but for yourself. Do not flee her tests, do not resent her power. Meet it with something greater, your unshakable being. When you do, the game ends, the illusion dies, the soul ascends. This message is not for the masses but for the few seekers, builders, uncrowned kings who have not forgotten fire. If these words weigh on you, share them. Let them echo. Like, subscribe, donate, not to support me but the truth. Men everywhere starve for it. If you have been fed, feed others. Let this be the start of your return, not to dominance, but to discernment. The world needs clearer men, not louder ones. Be that man and walk forward unshaken.